Being in the provision market is quite useful for us. We get lots of customers from the market coming in and get to know each other. It's nice.
Hi, Sunday.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. Good afternoon.
We're part of people's routine.
Many of the credit union's members can be found right on its doorstep.
What's that? Yes, Burns, we up to
Oh, yeah, what's going on? Sorted.
Excellent, you're good?
We've had a lot of interest really from all the market traders to set up accounts, either for their businesses or just personal accounts, so it can be savings or loans.
People before profit.
That's punk rock, isn't it?
It is punk rock, mate.
There's a real community feel to that.
One of them is father of 5, Dean, who runs a record shop in the market.
Hiya, Esther.
Hello,
Right?
how are you doing
Good,
today?
good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine. How is your business going?
Thriving.
Oh, that's good
Yeah.
for you.
OK.
Yeah, so how can I help you today?
If I can put some money into my account and 2 of the kids as well, please.
Okay, fine, okay.
I've got 4 accounts now, 3 for the kids, 1 for myself. And I do use big banks as well for other things, you know, paying direct debits, etc., etc. But I like, and I know the fact that it helps the community. The kids got more money than me.
Right, I'm going to go on with Eden. Yeah?
Yeah, that's my little boy. He's 8. He's autistic,
Right,
he is. So
okay.
that'll be saving up for when he's a rainy day or if he wants something when he's older.
Oh, that's nice.
A nice holiday or something for him.
Yeah. And I have to look into this account. Willow.
Yeah, that's my daughter. She just turned 1.
Okay.
As soon as the kids are born, I like to open an account for them and start some saving. So
Oh,
when they're
that's
old enough, they can do it themselves.
And the last one is Den.
Me,
Yeah. Okay.
that'll go
That's
towards
good.
the extension on the house, hopefully.
Oh, that's good.
Having the credit union in the same building where I work is just brilliant. I don't even have to leave my shop for more than a couple of minutes. The people working there are brilliant. They're kind. They don't just say thank you for your money. You go, how's things? How's your business? How are you today? And they call me Dean, obviously, because we've got that relationship now. Yeah.
Right, we look forward to seeing you again, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks so much, okay?
Excellent. Thank you.
And take care of that
Ta,
business
guys.
for me.
Cheerio.
Okay.
Ta-ra.
Bye-bye. Bye, Dean.
I know it's safe. I know where it's going. And I know other people are borrowing it as well, my money and my kids' money. So it's helping people in the community to get loans at a cheaper rate as well.
Today, first-time parents 22-year-old Astra and 19-year-old James are looking for a little help. They've come in for an urgent loan for a sooner-than-expected delivery.
Hello.
Hiya.
You okay today?
Yeah,
Right, what can I do for you?
I'm looking to get a loan, I am. I just had twin boys and I've just
lovely.
moved into a new property
Oh, that's nice.
and I wanted to get some cat bit laid, so I was hoping if you could help me.
Yeah. So how old are the boys?
3-week chested they were.
Oh, excellent. That's fine.
Yeah. I moved in on the Tuesday and I went into labour on the Wednesday, so I've been back and forth to the hospital. So I'm just seeing if I can get accepted to get some cat bit downstairs, ready for when the twins come home.
Astra gave birth 9 weeks early, and the twins are still in hospital. It's essential they have a clean and dust-free environment to come home to, so the loan is vital to help get everything ready in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you this form to fill up for me now.
Oh, lovely.
And
Thank
yeah,
you.
just go ahead with the form. So how much loan are you looking for now?
£300.
Yeah, £300 with them.
I've done upstairs. I just got downstairs.
Right.
I want to get everything ready for them.
So you're going to help out with the baby? Yeah. Diapers and everything?
Yeah.
That's good.
They've come in for what's called a family loan, which helps parents who've not yet got into the habit of saving.
The beauty of the family loan is it's usually a sort of small loan around the £300 mark that allows them to start making these sort of important purchases. It works slightly differently to a lot of normal loans, whereby we ask our members to have their child benefit paid into their credit union account. And then every week that comes into the office, £7 of that goes off towards paying their loan. £2 goes towards a savings account for the parent, and then £1 goes into each of their children's accounts, so that when their loan's finished, the parent's got a nice lump sum of savings, and so does each of the children, really, to sort of... So they leave us, if they do leave us, they leave us in a better place than when they first started. So it's just important, really, for us to start encouraging that saving from a young age for the children, and then sometimes for some parents who may not have saved in the past or may not have saved at all before.
Thank you very
Lovely.
much.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Have a good day.
My sister Libby told me about the credit union as she got 2 kids and 3 accounts with them, and it's helped her out loads.
That's a nice photo.
Yeah, the first time I held them, wasn't it, both of them? It would be a massive help to get this £300 from credit union because I need everything nice and new and fresh for them, and no one else can help me. I need it within a week, so fingers crossed.
Astra and James will have a short wait before they'll know if their loan will be approved. As well as credit unions, there are other ethical lenders who offer a helping hand to people who want to change their lives and start their own business. On the shores of Holy Loch in Dunoon, Western Scotland, an ethical loan is helping an award-winning couple serve up the finest local produce.
Good afternoon, sir. So, Argyle smokery seafood platters.
The seafood is the product of a nearby smokery run by partners Karen and Alan,
Take these prawns out now.
who set up their business 8 years ago after falling in love over fish.
We actually met at another smokehouse. I was the production manager, Karen was the buyer.
We kind of shared the same wry sense of humour, and that's basically how we first met. We do work quite well together. So, have we got the orders out today? Is everything I could do in the book?
Today it is. You wouldn't think that a romance in a smokehouse would ever blossom, but me and Karen have actually managed to do that.
Realising they were such a good team, it wasn't long before they decided to follow their dream of setting up their own smokery.
At the time that we decided, right, we're going to do this, property was quite difficult to come by. So the unit that we are in just now had come up for lease, and it was a case of you had to just put an offer in, and if your offer was accepted, you might be okay.
They managed to secure a 5-year lease on the building, but it needed a £25,000 refit. Money they didn't have, so they had to find a loan.
We went to the bank that had our mortgage, and we submitted our business plan to him, and we had to do the business plan about 3 times, and 3 times we were declined. He actually just said, look, this is a waste of time. You're not going to get any money out of this bank. And then Karen actually seen an advert in the Glasgow Herald for DSL, and we approached them.
Scottish lender DSL provides start-up and growth loans for small businesses and social enterprises who can't access funding from banks and other traditional sources. Stuart Yule is their executive director.
As a responsible lender, we're not in the business of putting people in positions of taking on loans that they can't afford to repay. Well, there's always an inherent risk that something happens within the business. I mean, you know, people fall out. Things happen in life. The other risk, of course, was that they lost customers. Their product became uncompetitive, but fundamentally they were building a diverse customer base, so we felt that the attributes of the proposal more than outweighed the detriments, and on balance, this was a couple that were certainly worth backing.
DSL loaned them the £25,000 they needed. It was a life-changing moment for Karen and Alan.
We were pretty excited because if we hadn't had the money, the business wouldn't have started and we would have had a real problem with paying up for that lease.
DSL basically saved the day for us.
With the money in place, they could kit out the building and get smoking. But the challenge of running a brand new business had only just begun.
So our very, very first customers were probably the public who didn't know us at all, hadn't a clue if we were going to sell anything. We had to prepare for the market, produce the goods, take ourselves off to various markets throughout Scotland and just see what happened. So yes, it was interesting. It was interesting.
I mean, the typical day, I mean, we talk about 5 o'clock in the morning, but when we started to get really busy, it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
and
10 o'clock at night.
10 o'clock at night leaving. And that wasn't just Monday to Friday, that was 7 days a week we were doing that.
Karen and Alan had dedicated their lives to getting the business going. But 3 years in, it looked like it could all be for nothing.
We were submitted a letter to say that the building was being sold, basically, to either us, and we had 3 weeks to find the money, or it was going out for an investment portfolio.
That was a boat out of the blue, a big one, and we thought, well, what do we do?
They approached us, which is kind of unusual. We don't usually get an approach quite as quickly to go back in with further funding, but we could see the potential in the business.
DSL came to the rescue once more, giving Karen and Alan a further £30,000 to buy the property and secure their future.
What you then do is let's start in the kiln. Since we got the business up and running, it's been on an upward trajectory for us. We've taken it from 0 to £500,000 turnover in 8 years with a reasonable profit margin.
And to top it all, Karen and Alan Seafood has recently received the Royal Seal of Approval.
Not too long ago, there was quite an important wedding, the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And our product was selected to be on their evening menu.
To have our product on a royal wedding menu was, well, what can you say, really? Everybody dreams of things like that.
Today, Stuart has come to see for himself the progress they've made.
Morning, folks.
Hi, Stuart.
Hiya. How are we today? Good to see you again, Alan.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Karen. Lovely to see you. Oh, always nice to see you.
And you.
How are you?
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm great. But yeah, let's go and see what's what.
Okay.
Okay, great. Well, we'll have to get you togged up as usual.
Absolutely. Right. There we go. Cooking by gas. There we are. Ideal. Super.
Well, this is what we call our high-risk area. These are 2 kilns. You want to see some salmon being sold?
Absolutely. I can smell them, so I'm sure I'll smell them even more when we open the kiln.
Then you can see it.
Oh, look at that. Fantastic.
That's a hot smoked salmon.
Marvellous.
That's the product that we've just won 3 stars for. The 3 stars is the equivalent of the Michelin Guide.
Marvellous.
So we're quite happy about that.
And that might well open more doors for you as well.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. It was great to see some of the improvements I've made in the business over the last couple of years in particular.
This is basically what they call our system, and it brings up the products that customer takes.
Sure. Yeah, we have a range of customers too. I think the computerised system for their ordering and their distribution that lets them keep track of their customers, etc., has been really, really good. And it makes them more efficient, of course, as a business. So, fab.
And this is our high-risk holding chill, Stuart.
Right.
And this is where all the salmon gets held in the racks after it's been smoked.
Yeah, OK. No, fab. This is a business in an area that struggles to retain its population. And for that business to be able to be here a number of years later is really very encouraging.
The future for us is always to grow organically. We don't want to be boom and bust.
After years of swimming upstream, Karen and Alan are shaping a bright future together, doing what they love.
It's great to see you doing so well.
It's great to see you again.
Thanks for coming.
Coming up, how a successful businessman lost everything.
My self-esteem was destroyed. My confidence was destroyed. I was constantly beating myself up for the mistakes I made.
And Astra finds out if she'll get her loan in time for her baby's homecoming.
I need it within a week, so fingers crossed.
With the cost of living at a record high, managing to save for a rainy day is becoming harder. In fact, 1 in 4 British people don't have any savings at all.
Other than saving for a deposit in a house, I don't think saving is really an option for people of our age group.
But at the Newport Credit Union, they've been helping the local community save for 20 years.
I have an account with the credit union, and I'm saving there for myself and my daughter for her college. That she's only a baby, but you know, starting early, give her a head start.
One of their oldest savers is Sandra, who has been a member for nearly 2 decades.
Oh, morning,
dear. I'd like a balance, please.
Yeah, just a moment. How are you, darling? All right?
Very well, thank you.
Right, what was your number now?
Number 19.
19?
Yes.
My gosh, you've been with us a long time.
I said we have.
Sandra is a member volunteer Pam knows very well.
She's a bit of a card, and she's a bit of a character, and we love her dearly. How long did you say you've been with us?
18 years.
18 years. You don't look old enough, though.
I am, I can assure you.
We started with number 1, so she was number 19. So she was one of our first customers, number 19. I'm 222, so I'm an old customer as well, but I'm 222.
Because it's evolved since then, you can now put direct debit and everything.
I know, it's brilliant, isn't
and
it?
it's a banking system for poor people like me.
Yeah, yeah,
Pensioners.
absolutely brilliant, yeah. But let me show you what you balance first.
Yes.
Today, Sandra wants to use some of her savings to help out her daughter.
I want £150 transferred to her account, please, love.
My best side.
She wants it to buy 2 sofas, second hand. But she doesn't get paid till Monday, so the money got to come from me.
We've got a lot of old customers that like to come in and have a chitty chat. If we got the time, we do have a nice chat to them. And how about your grandchildren? Have you got any grandchildren?
Loads of them. More than I can count.
Are you saving with us for?
No, I haven't got enough money.
They tell us their woes and their happy times as well. So it's nice.
There you are, love.
That's great.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
Done.
All done, yeah, not been by 5 today.
Bye-bye.
Learning to manage our finances for the first time can come as an expensive shock. And for those leaving home for university, it's a tough lesson, as the average student now graduates with £50,000 of debt.
That's a scary thing for all students to have to think about.
But the recent recession made things even harder, with unemployment for graduates reaching a 17-year high. It's something single mum Molly Zacharias from Cardiff knows only too well.
Hi, are you right? I thought I would come and see about getting a new loan for a new accounting qualification.
You've been with us for a while now.
Yeah.
You've had a couple of loans, so
yeah,
we can definitely.
And I'm very good. I always pay you on time.
Yes, you do.
The team here at Cardiff Credit Union have been helping Molly since 2012, when she fell on hard times as a recent graduate.
I went to university in West Wales in a small town called Lampeter to do a degree in English literature. I graduated with really high expectations about what I was going to do with my life and realising really quickly that that's not the way it worked.
With £1,500 in debt from her student overdraft, getting a job was her top priority, especially because Molly had her 7-year-old son Jackson to support.
So I searched everywhere for jobs, everything from policy work in charities to admin to bookkeeping to care work, just absolutely everything. I wasn't getting anything back. And in November, after I graduated, my overdraft was suddenly retracted by the bank, and suddenly I had no money for rent or for food.
With no income, his son had to live elsewhere while she got back on her feet. But instead of finding a job, she ended up sofa surfing and even sleeping on the street.
Not having anywhere to live is obviously quite traumatising, but the worst bit about it was that my son wasn't living with me at the time, and there was no realistic option for him to come and live with me until I had a decent source of income. I had the degree in English literature. It was a good degree. I could analyse any Shakespeare sonnet that you could throw at me, but I couldn't do anything in an office or any other line of work. And I decided that the only way to get any experience was to volunteer. Got that onto my CV, but I also needed a driving licence because everything that I read in job descriptions required that I had a driving licence as well.
To get a car and pass her test, was going to cost Molly £1,000. Money, of course, she didn't have. So she turned to the credit union for help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what we do is we need to actually fill these parts.
I wasn't expecting to get the loan because I'd had my student overdraft retracted. It affected my credit rating.
Us being a credit union, we are not just for, one set of category people. We are for all different parts of life. And that's why, when Molly actually came to us, we were really glad because she's a young, thriving person who needed some help, and we were there for her.
Within a few days, I had money to start my life again. I booked, I think, 20 driving lessons, and within 6 months I had a driving licence and a £300 car. The way that they asked me to pay back the loan was really helpful because it wasn't prohibitive in the way that other loans can be, and the interest rate wasn't very high either.
One of the best things about us is that you must do some savings on the side as well, so that once you pay back your loan, you've got a nice bit of savings to fall back on.
Awesome, thank you.
All right.
Yeah. So we agreed that I would have a standing order for £20 that went out of my account every Friday. 12 of that would go towards my loan and the other 8 into my savings account.
The very same month as getting the car, Molly got a job, which meant she could now secure a home for Jackson. And 1 year later, she was back at the credit union to help further her career even more.
After that, she came back to us for another loan for doing her accountancy course.
During that course, not only got me a new job in bookkeeping, but helped me in my own financial matters. So now I keep spreadsheets of my own finances and my own private life, which is a bit nuts to think about.
We're not just for giving people loan and savings. It's about seeing them progressing in life and seeing the potential. And youngsters like her is exactly a role model for so many other youngsters.
And Molly is still going for it, with her sights set on even more qualifications.
So my next move is potentially becoming a chartered accountant. I'm just really grateful that the credit union was there to give me a second chance, to help me get on with my life, help me make a life for my son as well.
When it comes to our finances, there's usually something to worry about. So we're travelling the country to encourage people to get talking.
So first thing we need to do is start having conversations, and people need to have a plan.
Trained money experts are on hand for guidance to anyone worried about debt. And today, we're talking mortgages. A loan to buy our home is the biggest step most of us will take on.
You think about it every day. You think about the mortgage, how you're going to pay.
For the coming 30 years, I need to pay the mortgage. So, of course, I keep thinking about that. I need to be always in full-time employment.
Mum Irene from Tottenham is looking for some guidance about her mortgage.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, hello, morning.
This
How
is
are you?
Conrad.
Hi, Conrad. Lovely.
And I'm Irene.
Hi, I'm Dana. Pleased to meet you.
Yes,
How can I help you this morning?
I've got a mortgage, and I would like to find out how to pay it off quicker.
So why is it that you actually want to pay off your mortgage?
My plan is for us to have just a more relaxed life, traveling and just enjoying life. I don't really want to work until my retirement age.
Yes.
And I think the biggest debt is usually the mortgage.
Yes.
So the sooner we can pay it off, the better.
As I'm sure you're very aware, mortgages are a very common type of debt. A lot of people have them, but unfortunately they can be quite draining on the purse. So there are a couple of different options in terms of paying off your mortgage early, some of which you probably are very familiar with. So for example, overpaying your mortgage. One of the things that I really love to use when I work with people is a way where you can actually accelerate that process. So have you ever heard of bi-weekly mortgage payments?
No.
Okay. So usually most people pay their mortgage on a monthly basis. Okay. So what we can do is actually pay our mortgage legally every 14 days.
Okay.
And what that does is that makes 26 half payments a year.
Not the full payment?
Yes. So, for example, if your mortgage was £1,000 a month, you'd stop paying by direct debit, and then every 14 days you'd make a standing order payment to your mortgage account of £500 every 14 days.
Currently, Irene is paying a monthly mortgage repayment that adds up to 12 payments a year, but most months are more than 4 weeks long. So if she cuts her monthly repayments in half and pays this amount every 2 weeks, over a year, Irene will overpay her mortgage by an extra 4 weeks.
Now, over the course of a mortgage, depending on when you start doing that, you can save anywhere between 5 and 8 years of the total time of your mortgage by paying every 2 weeks.
Didn't know that. Are there any other ways of paying off a mortgage quicker?
Well, the other way to pay off your mortgage quicker, which is quite typical, which most people think about, which is make an overpayment. Most mortgage companies will allow you to pay 10% of the balance of the mortgage as an overpayment every single year. Okay. Obviously, you'd always need to check with your provider. So, for example, if you had 100,000 outstanding, you could pay an additional £10,000. And also, another one is looking at if you can find a provider that will give you a more preferential rate than what you're currently paying.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was really good. That was good advice. I'll be following up and speaking to my mortgage advisor as well to see how we can pay off that mortgage sooner.
I think that was a productive conversation, one I have often. Hopefully, her and her family will be able to take that information away, and hopefully I'll catch them up in 10 or 15 years' time and they can tell me that they're all paid off and debt-free, and that would be fantastic.
Good morning, Property.
An important part of the relationship between the credit union and the community is the role of the volunteers.
Come and show us the baby, then.
Here at Newport, there are around 30 people who give up their time to help the locals with their finances.
Hi, Maureen. How's the dog? Fine.
We can't run without the volunteers at all.
We've got Esther, who does 2 days for us, and she's fantastic. I often think of her like the mother of the group. She loves to make sure you're okay. And
So how's your little daughter?
She's good.
She's often asking me about my family.
Oh, she's green. She's so cute. I have a good relationship with my customers. I've known them for the past 4 years, and we get on really well. Hello, how are you this morning? How are you doing? Good.
Pam and Val, definitely a double act. They definitely go together.
Hello. Oh, here he comes. Lovely boy. Thank you.
Thank you. When one's not there, it's not quite the same.
Thank you. Bye.
Absolute fantastic pair. The members absolutely love them.
They're marvellous, they are. We both work together in the NHS, in cardiology department. Yeah. So if anybody suffers with their heart, they can
run in the opposite direction.
I started credit union before Val, and then I dragged Val into the credit union.
When I retired from the hospital, then I started work.
With them 16 years, I think it is.
It'll be 17 in November.
Yeah.
And we're still here, and we're still enjoying it. How's business?
Oh, it's going good.
Good.
And we're all really here to sort of serve the member, and everyone sort of gets stuck in with that and gets to know everyone.
Have a nice day.
And you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And it's a real community feel.
Across the country, ethical loans are transforming lives. Ten years ago, David had it all.
I used to get invited to fabulous parties because I was successful, was able to take nice holidays. I used to ski, race powerboats, which is also my passion, and I had a very good life.
David owned multiple companies, spanning construction and plastics to servicing exclusive vehicles.
I had a performance car, it was an Audi RS5, but not as highbrow as this beauty.
At the height of his success, he employed 140 people.
Every man's dream is to get to drive fast cars, and I worked on them, and I used to get to enjoy them, but I got paid for it.
But in 2010, he made a financial decision that cost him everything.
I made an investment decision to join a company, and I invested some money into it with promise of being a decision maker within that operation, and it failed, and I was left completely high and dry.
David invested £500,000 in an advertising firm, but the company went bust, leaving David penniless. He lost everything: his car, his house, and all his assets.
Did I anticipate what was going to happen to me in 2010? No. Was I devastated when it did? Absolutely. I was destroyed, and it had a very detrimental effect on my mental health. My self-esteem was destroyed. My confidence was destroyed. I was constantly beating myself up for the mistakes I made. But at 49 years old, you don't want to feel like you're on the scrap heap. And that, to a degree, was how I felt when the wheels fell off in 2010. I had to go on the job-seeking circuit and sign on, which I've never done before, all the while applying for jobs that I was more than capable of doing and not even getting called for interviews.
David was trying to move on, but he was still £5,500 in debt on his overdraft.
I suppose to a degree I was in denial of my situation. I wasn't opening my post, I wasn't attending to things that I should have been attending to, and as a result, one of my creditors lost faith and lost patience and took me to court and got me a CCJ, or county court judgment as they call them. And that might as well have been a stab to the heart.
A county court judgment meant a black mark on David's credit score. Traditional lenders would now be reluctant to take him on for any loan in the future, be it personal or business.
I just knew that I needed to have a regular income and not job seekers allowance regular income, and I needed to stabilise my situation.
David finally found work through an agency. For 5 years, he did everything, from driving vans to office administration.
That was keeping the lights on and the food and the bills paid, but it was doing nothing else, so I was kind of treading sand.
David was determined to get his life back on track and set his sights on starting a new business in a market he knew well, customising and caring for luxury cars.
We're effectively plasticising the paint, so it leaves a permanent barrier that will never ever need to be waxed or polished in any way again. I think we'll start here, then we'll work round.
But with no cash and a CCJ to his name, getting a startup loan was almost impossible.
What that basically did is it stopped me borrowing any money for any opportunity, anything. I was just then, call it what I would call it leper class.
After months of searching for help, he finally came across the Fredericks Foundation, a not-for-profit lender that offers financial help and support to those who wouldn't qualify for loans elsewhere. They invested £10,000 in David, which meant he could rent a van and buy equipment to get going.
One of the reasons that the Fredericks Foundation decided to invest in David was that we firmly believe in investing in the person themselves. He really believed in what he was doing. Add to that the enormous experience and the wealth of knowledge that he had from his previous businesses. If anybody could make it work, he could.
But obviously they must have seen something, because they afforded me what I asked for. Everybody in the room was smiling, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, maybe I've just won the lottery.
As far as any defaults or CCJs are concerned, it isn't of prime importance to Fredericks. What is more of concern is your attitude to debt. So the fact that David had a CCJ and a number of defaults, the fact that he was paying them back and was in a payment plan was good news.
This panel is now finished, so will never, ever, ever need to be done again. I think she will be very happy.
As a result of the investment, David's client list has grown, and so has his team.
How you doing?
Good. Horace, how are you?
Not bad. Got Tesla today.
Excellent. Yep, that's
so
fine.
Time's against us,
Okay,
as usual.
let's crack on.
So no, he's good. He's reliable. The product is reliable. Nice guy, cool character, good heart.
If I'm on the tools, I'm on the tools. But in this capacity, I brought a team with me who are obviously doing the work.
He's got total dedication and focus, and that's what you need.
With the loan now paid off and business booming, David's about to set up permanent premises with the help of a second £15,000 loan from Fredericks.
I really don't know what to expect.
It's Val's first visit.
Hi, Val.
Wow,
Yes.
we're here.
Yeah, we are. Moving forward.
How are you, David?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. The units will come out to this position. Then there will be a road, and then there will be parking on this side. You just do what you know you need to do and keep on doing it, and eventually doors will open, opportunities will present themselves, and you'll get back to where you want to be.
So is David Brutus ready for this?
We absolutely are ready for this.
Good, good. It's been a fair time coming.
Absolutely.
You've really put in the work, though, and you deserve it.
It's a fantastic time, hence me not needing to sleep so much, I guess. I'm too excited with what's going on.
At Newport Credit Union in South Wales, Astra and James have asked for a £300 loan to get their house carpeted before their premature twins come home from hospital.
I need everything nice and new and fresh for him. I need it within a week, so fingers crossed.
Astra has had a call from the credit union, and it's good news.
Hello.
Hi, how can I help you today?
Hi, I've come to sign my loan agreement.
Okay. So I've just got a couple of forms for you to fill in.
Okay.
Okay. What was your loan for, Astra?
It's for Flora and Liz for my new house. I've just had twins, so...
Oh, lovely.
Trying to get my house together for them.
So this is the benefit payment mandate. This states that we'll be receiving your child benefit, of which it will be that amount. £7 will go to your loan repayment, £2 will go to your account, and £1 into Ronnie and Reggie's, and that you know you can't withdraw that whilst you've got a loan with us, okay?
Yeah.
After the year, the loan's repaid in full, you'll have over £100 saved, and Ronnie and Reggie will have over 50, okay?
Lovely.
This is just opening Ronnie and Reggie's accounts so that they're full-grown members of the credit union.
Lovely.
I just need you to read through the terms and conditions and sign and date for me, okay?
Nice.
Perfect. That's my copy. That's your copy. The money will be in your account by 5 o'clock today. And I hope you get all the carpets sorted.
Oh,
all right.
lovely.
Thanks very
you.
much. Have a good day now.
And you.
Bye-bye.
Just been accepted for my loan. I have £300 now and go get flooring, which are on offer at the moment. 7 slats of flooring for £6. So that's a good deal. I'll be able to get a lead in my house ready for the twins. If I couldn't have got